The cop's laughter was sharp, mocking, a harsh sound that grated against the quiet suburban evening. He loomed over Jamal, his grip tight on the boy's wrist, the flashing red and blue lights of the patrol car painting the street in anxious streaks. Neighbors peeked through their blinds, their whispers lost in the thrum of the engine. Jamal stood his ground, chin raised, voice steady despite the tremor in his chest. "My dad's in Special Forces. He's going to be here any second." The cop smirked, shaking his head. "Yeah, sure he is. Probably lives in some rundown apartment, not out here," he thought, a familiar disdain rising within him. He'd seen it all before, kids like this, mouthing off, trying to intimidate with empty threats. But what the officer didn't know was that in less than 60 seconds, his smirk would vanish, his grip would loosen, and the man stepping out of the shadows would make him regret every word. Jamal had heard it all before. "You don't belong here. Where'd you steal that bike from?" The usual accusations, the casual assumptions. Today was different. He was just riding home from basketball practice, the familiar bounce of the ball still echoing in his ears, when the cop rolled up, accusing him of matching the description of some suspect. Jamal knew the drill. Keep calm, answer the questions, don't give them a reason. But when the officer scoffed at the mention of his father, something inside him snapped. It wasn't just about him anymore. It was about defending his family, his pride. His dad wasn't just any soldier. He was the kind of man who moved in silence, a shadow warrior, until he was forced to be seen. The cop's radio crackled as he reached for his cuffs. "Let's take a ride downtown, kid. We'll sort this out." Jamal's stomach dropped. He knew what that meant. The cold, sterile interrogation room, the endless questions, the feeling of being trapped and alone. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through his defiance. Then, tires screeched. A black SUV, sleek and imposing, skidded to a halt behind the patrol car, its sudden arrival cutting through the tension like a knife. The officer spun around, hand instinctively hovering near his holster. The SUV door swung open, and boots hit the pavement, heavy, deliberate, each step radiating an unspoken power. A towering figure emerged, his posture rigid, his eyes locked onto the scene with an intensity that made the cop's bravado falter. Jamal exhaled, relief washing over him in a wave so strong it almost made his knees buckle. "Dad." The cop hesitated, his hand still hovering near his weapon, but his gaze darting nervously between Jamal's father and the boy. "Sir, this is police business. Your business is harassing my son." The man's voice was low, controlled, but it carried the weight of a storm brewing, a deep rumble that promised retribution. The cop's partner, sensing the shift in power, stepped forward, his voice conciliatory. "We had a report of a stolen bike. Kid fit the description." Jamal's father didn't blink. "Description." He reached inside his jacket, pulled out his military ID, and held it up for them to see. The badge gleamed under the flashing lights. "You want to run mine too?" The first cop's face paled. The insignia, the rank, it was all there, undeniable. None of this was a joke. This wasn't some gangbanger. This was a warrior, a protector. For a heartbeat, the street was dead silent, the only sound the distant hum of the city. Then, the officer swallowed hard, his bravado evaporating like mist. "Look, we were just doing our job." "Just what?" Jamal's dad cut in, his voice dangerously soft as he stepped closer. The air crackled with unspoken threats. "Teaching my son another lesson about how the world sees him?" Jamal's chest tightened. He hated this. The stares, the tension, the way his dad's jaw clenched, like he was holding back a fury that could erupt at any moment. He wished for a fleeting second that his dad wasn't here, that he could handle this himself. But the truth was, he was grateful. The cop raised his hand slightly, a gesture of appeasement. "No need for this to escalate. You're right." Jamal's father didn't back down. "So, uncuff my son. Now." A beat of tense silence hung in the air. Then, with stiff fingers, the officer complied, the plastic cuffs falling to the ground with a hollow clatter. As the patrol car finally pulled away, its red and blue lights fading into the distance, Jamal finally exhaled, his shoulders sagging with relief. The adrenaline drained from his body, leaving him shaky but whole. His dad rested a hand on his back, the touch both grounding and reassuring. "You okay?" Jamal nodded, but his voice was quiet, the question echoing the deeper turmoil within him. Why is it always like this? His father didn't answer right away. He looked down at Jamal, his expression a complex mix of pride, anger, and a weariness that spoke volumes. Then softly he said, "Because some people need proof before they respect you. But you don't owe them that, son. Never forget that." The streetlights flickered as they walked home, the night swallowing the echoes of the confrontation, and for the first time, Jamal understood that his father's strength wasn't just in his rank, his training, or his ability to handle a weapon. It was in the way he stood tall, unbroken, unbowed, no matter who doubted him. It was the quiet dignity, the unwavering self-respect that commanded attention, not the uniform.